Just because our perception of something is convoluted and based in confusion does not mean that the problem or situation in itself is actually complicated. Oftentimes, the most basic, straightforward, and practical assessments and solutions are obscured and obfuscated by over intellectualization, paralysis of analysis, and generally being so smart that we become stupid through over-education, over-information, overstimulation, excessive emotionality. That all leads to a situation in which our basic fundamental human capacities are neglected and or largely suppressed. So what I'm going to do in this video is illustrate through a few examples how therapy, self-help industries, and spirituality as access through social media and many popular outlets these days has actually made people a lot more impotent and confused. Impotent meaning inability to take action, inability to be effective, inability to do, inability to get things done, inability to quickly and easily solve problems, quickly and easily make decisions, to be decisive, to in any way, shape, or form be fairly aggressive and quick. And this is obviously the opposite of paralysis analysis, the opposite of what a lot of people do, which is be professional procrastinators, always acquiring more information, always acquiring more data, always getting more opinions, always analyzing more, always looking at something from so many different angles, but nothing ever gets done. So when you do that, you become impotent and confused. Because really, as humans, we all, especially in modern times, have a real constant craving for stimulation and a constant strive for what we perceive to be novelty, what we perceive to be entertaining and different and unique. Because also, we want to feel special, unique, different, or in some way, shape, or form superior to another group. And if you don't believe me, or that you're like, oh, that's not me, I would just say, come on now. I mean, how many times in a day do you look down on another group? If you're a conservative, you look down on liberals. If you're a liberal, you look down on conservatives. If you're a Christian, you look down on other people. If you're whatever other variation you fill in the blank, this is because by humans, we're social creatures and we know what tribe we belong to, usually by comparing ourselves to what tribe we don't belong to and how we're better and whatever else. And most importantly, it seems like there's this innate human desire and behavior to do literally anything and everything to avoid acknowledging, admitting the most simple and oftentimes obvious truths to ourselves that might make us feel uncomfortable for a short period of time, but in actuality would probably be better in the long term. And I think that kind of avoidance is what causes people to do a lot of, let's just say, things that maybe aren't that great for them, and kind of leave it at that. So to give some examples for what I'm talking about, and I could pull many different examples, but I'll just do two that are quite precise, is I can't tell you how many times over the years I've talked to people who, oh, they have all this anxiety and depression and mood swings and ups and downs, and they're having a dark night of the soul, or they went to a thing and it's a chemical imbalance, or they went to a therapist and they have all these issues and disorders, and they have this intergenerational trauma and family trauma and ancestral trauma and genetic trauma and human trauma, species trauma, like all these different things, or some kind of chakra imbalance or energy blockage, or it's the full moon in Pisces, or Mercury's in retrograde. All of these examples, and oftentimes in the people that I'm talking to, oftentimes the vast majority of the time, their basic rhythms for eating, sleeping, and moving are completely and utterly out of whack. Which, if those rhythms are out of whack, then the rest of your rhythms are going to be out of whack, like your mood, like your ability to focus, like your ability to connect with others, like your ability to be present, like your ability to feel grounded, like your ability to get things done, like your ability to focus. Like basically every other thing of your life will be completely thrown out of whack. And I'll ask people, oh, what time do you go to bed? Oh, I don't know, 2, 4 a.m., stay up late on my phone, doing things. I'm getting my second wind. Oh, okay, well, what time do you wake up? I don't know. Do you eat breakfast? No. Okay, well, when you eat food, what do you eat? I eat all cold, constrictive foods that aren't warming and don't really stimulate energy in my body. So they're basically just doing all these simple, basic, obvious things. But instead, oh, I'm having anxiety, I'm having a dark night of the soul, my chakras are imbalanced, energy blockage, full moon in Pisces, Mercury in retrograde, all these things. all these other things that they're probably paying people to tell them, and all these experts and all these highly educated people are missing the most basic, fundamental, and obvious things that I almost guarantee if people would get regularity and rhythm in these arenas, a lot of their problems would resolve and they would feel a lot better because they would actually be living from a solid foundation. And the second example is what I call the lady with junk in her trunk. So this was someone that I met in a dating context, and they were a therapist. They were in the therapy industry, and they had been, doing therapy for many years. And they're telling me about how, they've been really working on all these issues from their past relationship, and how they just can't get over it, and how it's just this trauma and this thing that's staying with them, and they just can't move on, and all these types of things. And then they mention that they have all of their exes, a bunch of their exes' stuff in the trunk of their car from when they lived together, and they just can't bring themselves to get rid of it. And that's really what's holding them back and what's keeping them from moving forward, and why they can't let go and why they can't move on, even though their partner or their ex lives in another complete part of the country than they do, and it's been a year or more, or 2 years or something at that point. So instead of actually just doing the thing that needed to be done, they'd been working in therapy for quite a long time and doing all this journaling, writing poems, doing journeying, getting in their imagination, doing active imagination, doing different drawings and free drawings and creativity, and all these Jungian therapies and Freudian therapies and talk therapies and so many different things that they've been working with this therapist on. And I'm just thinking, like, why don't you just drive to literally any garbage can? I'm like, you can use the one out in front of my apartment and just take the stuff from the trunk and put it in there. Oh my God, I just don't know. I don't think I feel ready, and the timing's not right. And, my therapist says it's just not ready, and I shouldn't do it just yet because we still have more to do with some journaling, and I've got more poems, and I'm just really in a good place with the processing and just all this 10 minutes of nuance. And I'm just like, or you could literally just go do it. Like, and then the icing on the cake was the last time that I talked to him is like, oh yeah, something happened. Someone rear-ended me. So then, like, it hit my bumper, so I can't open my trunk now. So I can't even get the stuff out. And I'm like, dude, if that isn't just the pinnacle illustration of exactly what I'm talking about here in this video, it's amazing. But I'm talking to myself, I'm hearing them tell me this stuff, and I'm just like, you're paying all this money. This is years of your life for something that's literally the simplest, most obvious, most basic, easy thing to do. And I almost think they maybe still haven't even done it. I don't even know at this point. But it's like, it's really right there. But it was just a great example of them doing exactly everything that I've been saying in this video. And not only was that illustration there, but that was the same behavior they'd had in many other areas of their life. And to me, that's not healthy. That's not useful. That is being impotent and confused. Impotent because you're not potent. You're not getting anything done. Your life isn't moving forward. You're not doing anything. You're not taking any action. You're just running on a hamster wheel. But you're telling yourself that it's progress because you have some highly credentialed, quote unquote, expert, and you're both completely divorced from reality and checked out of anything practical or useful or human, and living in who knows what fantasy realm. But yeah, I think maybe that's all I need to say. Hopefully my point has been proven, and it's something to be heavily aware of, and I'm sure might resonate with a lot of people watching this video now.